Your brain is changing every single day. And the scary part? Most people are eating foods that accelerate cognitive decline without even knowing it. But what if you could protect your brain starting today with simple foods that research shows may help preserve memory and mental sharpness as you age? Today, you'll discover the 10 foods scientists say you should eat regularly to support brain health, plus the eating patterns linked to better cognitive function over time. And trust me, food number 7 is sitting in your kitchen right now. Let's dive in. Part 1: The 10 foods linked to better brain health. Food number 1: fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines. Fatty fish are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA and EPA. Your brain is nearly 60% fat, and DHA is a major structural component of brain cell membranes. Research examining dietary patterns consistently finds associations between regular fish consumption and various cognitive markers. Population studies have found that people who eat fish regularly show different patterns in brain imaging studies compared to those who rarely eat fish. The omega-3s in fish have been studied extensively for their potential effects on brain structure and function. Aim for 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish per week. Wild-caught salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring are all excellent choices. If you don't eat fish, consider discussing omega-3 supplementation with your healthcare provider, though whole food sources appear most beneficial in research. Food number 2: blueberries and dark berries. Blueberries contain compounds called anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep blue color. These compounds have been studied for their potential effects on brain cells and cognitive function. Research examining berry consumption has found interesting associations with various cognitive markers. One study followed older adults over several years and found that those who ate berries regularly showed different patterns in cognitive assessments compared to those who rarely ate berries. The antioxidant compounds in berries are what researchers focus on when studying brain health. Fresh or frozen both work. Frozen berries are often picked at peak ripeness and can be more affordable. Add a half cup to your morning oatmeal, blend into smoothies, or eat as a snack. Variety matters too. Blackberries, strawberries, and raspberries all contain beneficial compounds. Food number 3: leafy green vegetables, kale, spinach, collards. Leafy greens are packed with nutrients that researchers study in relation to cognitive health: folate, vitamin K, lutein, and beta-carotene. Multiple large studies have examined leafy green consumption and found associations with slower rates of cognitive changes over time. One notable study followed nearly 1,000 older adults for 5 years. Those who ate 1 to 2 servings of leafy greens daily showed cognitive function patterns similar to people 11 years younger compared to those who rarely ate greens. The nutrients in leafy greens work together. Folate supports various brain processes, vitamin K has been studied for its potential cognitive effects, and lutein accumulates in brain tissue. Aim for at least 1 serving daily. Rotate between different greens for variety. Food number 4: nuts and seeds, especially walnuts. Nuts provide healthy fats, protein, fiber, and various nutrients that researchers study in relation to brain health. Walnuts are particularly interesting because they're high in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Research examining nut consumption has found associations with various cognitive markers. Studies suggest that people who eat nuts regularly show different patterns in cognitive assessments. The combination of healthy fats, vitamin E, and other compounds in nuts is what researchers focus on. A quarter cup daily is a good target. Walnuts, almonds, pecans, and pumpkin seeds all offer benefits. Raw or dry roasted without added oils or sugar work best. Add to salads, oatmeal, or eat as a standalone snack. Food number 5: extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is a cornerstone of the Mediterranean dietary pattern, which has been studied extensively in relation to cognitive health. The oil contains compounds that researchers examine for their potential effects on brain cells and various biological processes. Multiple studies have found associations between olive oil consumption and cognitive markers. The polyphenols in high-quality extra virgin olive oil are what researchers focus on. These compounds have been studied for their potential effects on oxidative processes and inflammation. Use extra virgin olive oil as your primary cooking fat and for salad dressings. Look for high-quality oil in dark bottles. The flavor should be slightly peppery or grassy, indicating higher polyphenol content. 2 to 3 tablespoons daily appears beneficial in research. Food number 6, whole grains, oats, quinoa, brown rice. Whole grains provide steady energy for your brain, which uses about 20% of your body's energy despite being only 2% of your body weight. Unlike refined grains that cause rapid energy fluctuations, whole grains provide gradual, sustained fuel. Research examining dietary patterns has found associations between whole grain consumption and various cognitive markers. The fiber in whole grains affects how your body processes carbohydrates, which influences steady energy delivery to the brain. Choose whole grain oats, quinoa, brown rice, whole wheat bread, and whole grain pasta. Aim for 3 servings daily. Check ingredient labels. Whole grain should be the first ingredient. The fiber and B vitamins in whole grains are what researchers study in relation to cognitive function. Food number 7, eggs, especially the yolks, and here's food number 7, the one already sitting in your kitchen. Eggs, particularly the yolks, contain choline, a nutrient that your body uses to produce acetylcholine, a compound involved in memory and various brain functions. Research has examined choline intake in relation to cognitive markers. Eggs also provide B vitamins, particularly B12 and folate, which researchers study for their roles in brain health. Population studies have found that adequate B vitamin intake is associated with various cognitive patterns. 1 to 2 eggs daily appears safe and beneficial for most people based on current research. The yolk contains most of the brain-supporting nutrients, so don't skip it. Preparation doesn't matter much. Boiled, scrambled, or poached all work. Food number 8, dark chocolate, 70% cacao or higher. Real dark chocolate, 70% cacao or higher, contains flavonoids, caffeine, and antioxidants that researchers study in relation to brain function. These compounds have been examined for their potential effects on blood flow and various cognitive processes. Studies examining cocoa flavonoid consumption have found associations with different patterns in cognitive assessments and brain imaging. The flavonoids in dark chocolate are what researchers focus on when studying potential cognitive effects. Stick to 1 to 2 squares daily, about 20 to 30 grams. Higher cacao percentages contain more flavonoids and less sugar. Let it melt slowly in your mouth for maximum satisfaction with smaller portions. Food number 9, broccoli and cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower and Brussels sprouts contain compounds that researchers study for their potential brain protective effects. They're particularly high in vitamin K and various plant compounds that have been examined in cognitive research. Research looking at cruciferous vegetable consumption has found associations with various cognitive markers. The combination of vitamin K, folate, and specific plant compounds is what researchers focus on when studying these vegetables. Aim for 3 to 4 servings of cruciferous vegetables weekly. Lightly steaming preserves more beneficial compounds compared to boiling. Raw broccoli in salads, roasted Brussels sprouts, or cauliflower rice all count. Food number 10, green tea. Green tea contains caffeine and L-theanine, a combination that researchers study for effects on attention and various cognitive processes. It also contains catechins, particularly EGCG, which have been examined for their potential effects on brain cells. Multiple studies have looked at green tea consumption and found associations with various cognitive markers. Some research suggests that people who drink green tea regularly show different patterns in cognitive assessments compared to non-tea drinkers. 2 to 3 cups daily appears beneficial in most research. Brew for 3 to 5 minutes in water that's hot but not boiling, around 170 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. This preserves more beneficial compounds while reducing bitterness. Before we talk about how to combine these foods into a brain-healthy eating pattern, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. We release research-backed health content every single week to help you make informed decisions. Now let's talk about putting this into practice. Part 2: The eating pattern that matters most. Individual foods matter, but eating patterns matter more. Research consistently points to specific dietary approaches associated with better cognitive outcomes over time. The Mediterranean style pattern. This pattern emphasizes the foods we just covered: fish, berries, leafy greens, nuts, olive oil, whole grains, and vegetables. Multiple large studies have examined this eating pattern and found associations with various cognitive markers. One major study called the MIND diet combined Mediterranean and another dietary approach. Research following participants over several years found that those who followed this pattern more closely showed different cognitive aging patterns compared to those who followed it less closely. What this looks like daily: leafy greens at least once, another vegetable at least once, berries 3 or more times weekly, nuts most days, beans and legumes several times weekly, fish at least twice weekly, olive oil as primary fat, whole grains at most meals, occasional poultry, limited red meat, butter, cheese, and sweets. Hydration matters. Your brain is about 75% water. Even mild dehydration can affect cognitive function. Aim for 6 to 8 glasses of water daily. Herbal teas and green tea count toward hydration. Timing considerations. Some research suggests eating patterns that maintain steady energy throughout the day may support cognitive function better than patterns that cause dramatic energy swings. This means regular meals with balanced macronutrients rather than long fasting periods followed by large meals. What to limit? Research examining dietary patterns and cognitive health consistently finds that diets high in refined sugars, saturated fats from processed foods, and fried foods show associations with different cognitive patterns. Focus on adding beneficial foods rather than obsessing over restrictions. The social component. Interestingly, research on populations with better cognitive aging often finds that meals are social events. Eating with others, taking time to enjoy food, and making meals an experience rather than just fuel may play a role beyond the food itself. Part 3: Beyond food. The complete brain health picture. Food is crucial, but it's part of a larger picture. Research examining cognitive health consistently identifies several factors that work together. Physical activity. Multiple studies have found that regular physical activity is associated with various cognitive markers. Exercise affects blood flow, supports the growth of new brain connections, and influences various biological processes. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate activity weekly. Quality sleep. Sleep is when your brain clears out waste products and consolidates memories. Research has found associations between sleep patterns and cognitive health. Aim for 7 to 9 hours nightly. Consistent sleep schedules appear important. Mental stimulation, learning new things, reading, puzzles, and social interaction all engage your brain. Research suggests that cognitive stimulation throughout life is associated with various cognitive outcomes. The key is novelty. Learning new skills appears more beneficial than repeating familiar ones. Social connection. Loneliness and social isolation have been studied in relation to cognitive health. Research suggests that maintaining social connections is associated with various cognitive markers. Quality matters more than quantity. Meaningful relationships appear most important. Stress management. Chronic stress has been studied for its potential effects on brain structure and function. Research examining stress and cognitive health has found various associations. Meditation, yoga, time in nature, and other stress reduction practices appear beneficial. Cardiovascular health. What's good for your heart is good for your brain. Managing blood pressure, staying active, not smoking, and maintaining healthy patterns all support brain health. Many of the same factors that affect cardiovascular health also appear in cognitive research. Purpose and engagement. Research on populations with healthy cognitive aging often finds that people stay engaged with life, they have purposes, contribute to communities, and maintain interests. This psychological engagement appears to matter beyond just physical and dietary factors. Here's the truth. You can't control everything about cognitive aging, but you can influence many factors starting today. The 10 foods we covered: fatty fish, berries, leafy greens, nuts, olive oil, whole grains, eggs, dark chocolate, cruciferous vegetables, and green tea, all appear repeatedly in research examining dietary patterns and cognitive health. But remember, it's not about perfection. It's about consistent patterns over time. Add 1 or 2 of these foods this week. Build from there. Focus on the Mediterranean-style eating pattern. Stay active, sleep well, keep learning, and maintain connections with others. Every meal is an opportunity to support your brain. Every day is a chance to build habits that research suggests may help preserve cognitive function as you age. If this information empowered you to take action, smash that like button and subscribe to Vital Peak Enigma. We're committed to bringing you evidence-based health information you can actually use. Drop a comment below. Which of these 10 foods do you already eat regularly? And which one are you going to add this week? I read every comment. Next video, we're covering the sleep habits linked to better brain health, what time to go to bed, what to avoid before sleep, and the surprising things that affect sleep quality. You won't want to miss it. Until then, start with 1 food, build consistent patterns, and know that every positive choice supports your long-term cognitive health.